Hey everyone, it's Jason again. Welcome back to the Marvel Legendary Deck Building component sets. This is the Marvel Noir, which is kind of like the dark, gritty realism version of Marvel. Had a bunch of different comics and issues. It's basically characters that don't necessarily have powers. Old gangster 40 style stuff. So we got a bunch of different unique characters, which is kind of cool about this, because it's not themed like Guardians of the Galaxy, Painted Town Red with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Captain America, so on and so forth. This is a bunch of different characters. So here we have, we'll see if we can focus this a bit for you. Spider-Man Noir, who has a spider friend. Also has a new ability keyword called Investigate. So typically the Investigate ability when you play it lets you search the top 2 cards of your deck and what you're looking for. So search the top 2 cards of your deck for a card that costs 2 or less. If you find it, you draw that card as you put it back on the bottom of your deck. So in typical Spider-Man fashion, he always costs 2. It's got Webs of Darkness. Solve the crime. So this actually has investigate the bystander stack for a bystander and rescue it. So this lets you search a specific area. And this is Spider Combs Chosen. So this one says investigate each player's deck for a card that costs 2 or less. Play a copy of that card, then put it into their discard pile. So if it doesn't specify, it's always your deck. Some let you search other people's decks or different cards. So it's kind of a neat effect. So now we have the Marvel Knights. We have Luke Cage Noir. So it's kind of like a, gangster. What era would this be? I don't know. 60s? That's too early. Maybe 50s, 40s. 40 seems too early. But yeah, it's, I didn't even read what that card was. Follow the big lead. So he's like a detective. Private investigations. So he can investigate for a card that costs 4 or more. The Unbreakable Cage. And Weight of the World. And then we get a little bit different. We have an Avenger this time. We have the Iron Man Noir. So he's got kind of like a steampunky Iron Man. You kind of see on the cover back here, he's got like, he's got a jetpack. He has a giant wind turbine. Alright, so then we have Mechanized Plate Mail. Steam-powered Arsenal. Learn from the enemies. This kind of, you may use the fight ability of a villain worth 1 point from your victory pile. And Adventurers Assemble instead of Avengers. So there's that one. And then we have another Marvel Knight. We have Daredevil Noir. Balancing Act. Listen for Heartbeats. Discover the Bodies. And Hitting Rock Bottom. Discard a card from the top or bottom of your deck. If it costs 0, you get 1 attack, and repeat this process. If your deck runs out, stop. And then finally we have from the X-Men Noir storyline, we have Angel. So rather than this being a Warren Worthington character, with wings, he's actually just a guy that can, well, it is Warren Worthington, but it's a complicated story. It's just kind of where the X-Men, if they didn't have their superpowers, except he kind of has superpowers, but he's a detective. Yeah, it's an interesting story. You have to read it. So he has Impetuous Dive, Multi-talented. He has an identical twin brother. And Missing Persons Case. This set had a promo card in it, if you got one of the first sets, which is a bystander for Detective Wolverine, which is part of the Wolverine Noir series. When you rested as bystander, investigate the villain deck for a villain worth 1 and put it into your victory pile. Basically, Wolverine comes out and immediately takes down like some easy to take down guy. They make it look like it's his actual claws, but in this one he doesn't have claws, he doesn't have powers. They're like little bladed hook things that he wears. So we're going to keep going with the X-Men theme here. And we are going to go Charles Xavier, Professor of Crime. So he actually runs basically a psych ward, I believe it was. And his X-Men, quote unquote, the X-Men Noir, don't have powers. They're actually psychopaths. So mutants are basically criminals. He's like, hey, they have these special abilities they use to commit crimes. He's trying to teach them how, like, oh, we can reform them and have them. Well, he wants to use them for crime, but he pretends he's going to reform them. But you can use them for, like, their special abilities and get them better. So instead of making them understand their mutant powers and using them, he's using their criminal skills and transforming them. He's also got Hidden Witness, which, again, was one of his abilities. If I remember properly, it was you take a bystander and you put it under a character whenever it triggers, and you have to defeat that bystander by paying so many points before you can fight. I think it was something like that. Alright, so this is XMen, Master Manipulator, Corrupt Weak Minds, and Commit to the Island. So his X-Men are Bobby Iceman Drake. He uses he has a knife. I think he's like an ice pick. We have Warden, Emma Frost. She helps him by running the asylum. Scott Cyclops Summers, who doesn't actually have optic blasts in this one. He just has ruby glasses, but he's a sharpshooter. So it's his thing. Aurora Monroe, Storm Tossed. He's the hardened thief. Oh, I dropped one here. So we have Henry, the Beast McCoy. So, just a smart guy that gets pretty savage. Comrade Rasputin, the Steel Wall. Colossus. Jean Grey Noir. It's kind of funny, she's the only one that doesn't have a special name. Not really a psychic, just a manipulator of minds. So that is the X-Men. And then we have the SpiderMan villain, the Goblin Underworld Boss. So he runs the Goblin's Freak Show. So he has Sinister Dreams, Carnival of Carnage, Blind Loyalty, and Blackmail the Judges. So his Goblin's Freak Show, he runs a carnival with all his Freak Show characters based on Spider-Man villains. So we have Vulture, the Carnival Cannibal, the Chameleon, Ox, Montana, Craven the Animal Trainer, Fancy Dan, and then our Steam twists, our Steams are Silence the Witness. This uses more of the Hidden Witness feature. Hidden Hearts of Darkness, which has more investigating stuff. 5 Families of Crime. This is kind of neat. You had 2 extra villain groups. Split the villain deck into 5 shuffled decks, 1 above each city space. Special rule: each villain uses its own city space of one of the city spaces. Each turn you choose 1 villain and play a card. Play 2 cards from the villain deck. and when 8 villains escape or all the villains in the deck runs out. It's just kind of neat, different mechanic for the game. And finally, the split personality killer. That's kind of like a crime one, so that's kind of neat as well. I'm not going to read through all that. So that was just Spider-Man, the Marvel Noir. Neat mechanics, investigates, kind of cool. Again, the only downside I've said in some of the other videos on some of the small expansions is they don't use these keywords again. Unlike, say, like Magic the Gathering, where it brings back keywords from set to set, or had multiple expansions with the same keyword. Most of them are used once and then they're done. So you kind of don't get a play on them, like utilize the chance more than once. But at least these don't build off of each other as much. So that was Legendary Noir. Catch you guys later.